Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Tatika, a new Esty and Lash Artist, and today's video is for that oily skin diva, right? It's for the oily skin diva who the world is opening up, right? So it's time, but it's hot out in the streets. It's hot out in the streets. You trying to figure out what to do? This video is for you. I'm not too sure where you guys are at, but I'm in North Carolina, and in North Carolina, the world is opening back up, right? Like the world is opening back up, and the masks are now, they are voluntary, right? Now, there are some places that you can go that still require you to have a mask on, but most places here in North Carolina, our masks are optional. Right? Supposedly if you have your vaccine, but nobody's checking. So, just keep that in mind. So if you're like me, I thoroughly enjoyed the whole mask thing. I enjoyed it because like this much of your face was covered up. All I had to do is worry about this right here. And most of the time that meant no foundation or concealer, because I didn't want to get no type of makeup on my mask. My reusable mask that I was washing, I didn't want to get any stains on that, because I don't care who you are, once you stain that mask, it's not coming off. So I didn't want to stain it. So for me, it was like brows and some bronzer in the crease, and that was about it. So I thoroughly enjoyed that time. But you know what, now I'm not covered anymore, and I have noticed that I've been wanting to I just wanted to cover up some imperfections just a little bit. You know, I was a victim of acne, so I've got some spots that are going away, but very slowly. And I just, I can put some lip gloss back on, because your girl lips be dry, so I'm able to, grab that lip gloss that stays in my purse again. So I'm noticing that I'm wanting to reach more for a little bit. I want to be a little bit more made up than I have been. So if you're like me, I definitely get it. Unfortunately, here in North Carolina, it's also peak summertime. So it's 1,000 degrees outside. And I don't know about y'all. I don't know about y'all. I feel like I am too old to be feeling suffocated with my makeup. My own personal opinion, okay? That I ain't about that life, okay? I ain't about that life. So what I highly recommend you do, especially again if you are an oily skin diva like myself, the mask is off, you wanna get a little bit more polished, but you are not ready to reach for that full-on liquid foundation, reach for a powder. Reach for a powder foundation. I am someone who underestimated powder foundation for a long time. For me, powder foundation was more of just a liquid foundation with, right? Like it didn't stand on its own. But I'm telling you right now, I live with a powder foundation for so many reasons. Number one, to me, it's quick and easy. I'm not looking for that full beat coverage, so it's really easy for me to just and keep it pushing, you know what I mean? And now I can actually grab a little blush. I still don't touch the bronzer or anything, and I was never a highlighter, but I'm still taking it 2 steps further than I was taking it before. And the powder foundation has been beautiful. It's quick, it's easy, it gives just, in my opinion, just the right amount of coverage. I can still see my skin. If you are like all up in my business, you can still see some imperfections, but why are you that close? Okay, so I love the coverage that it gives, but your skin still feels so light and breathable. You know what I mean? Like, again, it's funny, I love being outside. Do not like being sweaty hot. Okay, I love being outside. I love being in nature. I love just being in silence. I really do. I've grown to appreciate that. But when sweat rolls down the face and it's mixed in with foundation, you're going about that life. So that's the perspective I'm coming at for you. If you're in that same boat like me, I highly suggest you reach for powder foundation. Like I said, it's easy, it's quick, it gives a nice amount of coverage, it's still breathable, and it's just, I think it's that perfect combination. Now, I do want to mention my favorite powder foundation at the moment, but before I do want to backtrack just a little bit and talk about the skin prep, skincare portion of this as well, because I feel like whether you go full beat or nah, your skin prep is so important. the base is, no matter if you have a terrible base, no matter what you put on top of it, you're never going to get the look that you want. So, and I feel like with a powder foundation, it's really a lot harder to hide those imperfections. So you really want to make sure that that skin is nice and prepped. So of course you want to start with your routine. You want to make sure at the minimum you have a cleanser, a toner. I like a toner, okay? I'm still an advocate of a toner, especially a nice hydrating toner. I'm all about that life. I know a lot of people say toner who, but I love a good toner. So you want a cleanser, a toner, a moisturizer, and a sunscreen at the bare minimum, right? So when it comes to that routine, definitely make sure you know your skin type and really cater to that first. Then start throwing in some concerns like wrinkles and things like that. Start tossing that in later. Start with the baseline. Make sure you get some products based around your skin type. If you are struggling to figure out what your skin type is, head over to my Facebook page right here. Check that out. I did just upload a video with a really easy way on how to figure out your skin type. So go watch that video. I do advise that you throw in, especially in the summertime. I do all the time, but especially in the summertime, especially if you have oily skin, because it's very easy for your skin to get congested and clogged and heavy. So you really want to make sure that you are really helping that skin with the turnover and really exfoliating and getting rid of that dead skin and that dirt and oil and all that kind of extra stuff. You want to make sure you're getting rid of it. I am someone who normally tends to go more towards a chemical exfoliant. So that's with your acids and things like that, kind of work from the inside out. But I also really like to add a physical or manual exfoliant, especially in the hotter seasons. Now, I'm only reaching for this like once a week. That's about it. You know, I'm chemical exfoliate a lot more, but I only like to put that manual stuff in there once a week. As far as mentioning one of my favorite exfoliants, I know I'm about to, now this is the Equate Medicated Apricot Cleanser, because your girl is cheap, and me and Equate, I think Equate is just fine in almost all cases, okay? So I trust the Equate brand, except for that it's Walmart. Walmart sucks. But you guys remember this? This was the St. Ives Apricot Scrub back in the day when I was a teenager. It was what you used. Unfortunately, we were using it wrong. We were using it to completely strip our skin of any type of natural anything, and then not putting any type of moisturizer or anything on. So we would use it to rub our skins raw and then go out and notice that our skin was overproducing oil, and we were thinking, this sucks. But really, it was because we were using it wrong. In rant, I like this stuff. It's affordable. It works. And honestly, guys, the beads of it, in my opinion, so you know, whenever you have a manual exfoliant, it's a product that has actual granules or something physical in it that's actually manually exfoliating the skin. And you do want to make sure that if you do use a product like this, you want it to have as gentle of beads or exfoliant in as possible. You don't want to use anything too big or too harsh that really kind of actually scratches and distresses the skin. You want something that just has a nice little bit of texture to it to give you that exfoliation. You also want to make sure that you're being really gentle. But I think this does a great job. And like I said, it's inexpensive. And when you use it as a scrub, not as a cleanser, you're using it the right way. I just don't think this is an everyday cleanser. I don't feel like anybody needs manual or physical exfoliation every single day. I just don't. I just don't. So, but when you use this as a scrub, it's very effective. I tend to get like whiteheads right here around my mouth and especially on my nose. And this right here, when I kind of go in there and put just a little bit of extra pressure and really get right in there, this cleans it up beautifully. So make sure that you have yourself an exfoliant, a manual physical exfoliant somewhere in your routine, especially when it comes to the warmer months when you're sweating a little bit more. Again, maybe just toss it in once a week, you know, just toss it in once a week and just see the difference, especially just getting up underneath here. I think it just really helps just get rid of that dead skin and just really smooths out the skin and gets it prepared for that powder foundation. And also in that skincare routine, do not forget or your SPF. I am a believer of wearing SPF every single day because the rays are out every single day, whether it's sunny outside, whether it's winter, whether it's summer, no matter the season, no matter the weather. Put on your SPF, make sure it's broad spectrum, make sure it's at least a 30, in my opinion, and make sure that it's doing what you need it to do, okay? You always want to put on a sunscreen, but in particular, you want to have a sunscreen on in this hot weather. You're outside more, there's more heat, there's more intensity. You want to make sure that you're protecting your skin. I will also say you might want to think about having one SPF in the cooler months and one SPF in the warmer months. So, if you're somebody who sits around that SPF 30, you might want to push it up to a 40 in the summertime because you just might find that you need a little bit more extra protection. Whatever it is, even if you just keep that same one all year long, that's better than nothing. And definitely make sure that you wear it every single day. Now, I actually also like to make sure I have a primer on whenever I am wearing a powder foundation. Now, I wear a primer anytime I have any type of foundation on. I am a believer in a primer. I think a primer does a great job, especially a good one, of really feeling in the skin, smoothing things out. And I like the fact that it gives a layer between whatever you're about to put on your face. So I'm pro primer. Okay, I'm pro primer, and I also believe that primers work in different ways. There are some primers that hydrate the skin and prevent the oil from feeling like it needs to be produced, and then there are some that catch that oil that's being produced and block it. So there's different type of primers that do different type of things, but I do think they're effective. One of the ways I like to get my sunscreen and my primer is to use a well multitasking product. Not just one that says it's going to multitask, but one that does multitasking well. And y'all know, Supergoop. Supergoop, I've mentioned this so many times on this channel, you're probably tired of hearing me saying it. I kind of feel like I was like the Supergoop person, but that's okay. But I feel like Supergoop does a great job of being a primer and a sunscreen. Now this is the unseen sunscreen, so this is the clear one. This one has a much more silicone-y, smoothing out texture than some of the other ones. This one is SPF 40 and it is broad spectrum PA+++. Okay, so this is really nice one. What I love about Supergoop is that it is great as a primer. Like I said, it smooths things out. It fills in the pores. It really just gives me a nice base to start with. And then it's giving you the sunscreen. It's giving you all the sunscreen you need and all the protection. So I absolutely love it. It is a little bit pricey. So if it's too pricey for you, I definitely get it. There are some beautiful sunscreens out there that are way less expensive and way more expensive. But again, what I love about the Supergoop is it does multitask and multitask well. So it's kind of fitting. It's kind of wearing two hats. And because it's wearing two hats, the price point doesn't bother me too much because not only does it wear two hats, but it wears two hats quite well. So definitely make sure that you have a sunscreen, and you also want to make sure you have a primer because sometimes that powder foundation cannot be forgiving and shout and just kind of highlight all the things. So that's all I really wanted to mention from a skincare type of perspective. Just make sure that you really have that skincare routine going on, especially for my oily skin divas. I know sometimes we forget that because we already have oily skin, we still need to hydrate and moisturize our skin. We are not exempt from that. Everyone does. Everyone needs to do that to their skin, even oily skin divas. The way I like to look at it is my nighttime or PM routine is all about hydration. It's really about giving my skin what it needs to just feel nice and relaxed and hydrated so that when I go to sleep and everything's like resetting, it's got everything it needs. Then during the daytime, that's whenever I try to go more degreasing, oil controlling, mattifying type of situation. You just don't want to focus on that throughout your entire routine day and night because you have to have somewhere where you're really pampering the skin and giving it the moisture it needs. And if all you're doing is worrying about the mattification, which I don't know why it matters at night. It don't, girl. It don't matter. So you just have to make sure somewhere in there, again, nighttime works perfectly, that you are really focusing on hydration and restoration and just really helping that skin do its thing at night. But I do want to mention that it's just very important to make sure that that skin is exfoliated. You got your skincare routine going on. You know, you've got your primer, you've got your sunscreen. You got your sunscreen, and then lastly, you want to reach for a powder foundation. Now, my favorite happens to be the L'Oreal Paris Infallible Pro Matte. I don't even know if they still make this. I mean, as you can see, this was on clearance at Walmart, so I don't know if it was just because they discontinued this shade or what. By the way, mine is 700 Classic Tan. I do have a full video on this and my powder foundation routine. It's pretty much the same, so I will link it up above and down below for you guys. Definitely check that out. But this is great. It's affordable, as you can see. It's affordable. It's easily accessible. Now they have way more shades, so thank you, L'Oreal. And it just does the job well. It's easy and quick to put on. Like I said, I just take a flat top brush, pat it all over. You know what I mean? I'm not going for full coverage. I'm really just going for some coverings, a little bit of masking, you know, some spots in some places. I'm just trying to cover that up, and this does it beautifully well with just like one rotation. 5 minutes, you can get it done. It stays in place. It's not moving all over the place. I feel like I stay matte for a very long time with this powder foundation on, but I love the fact that I have coverage. So, you know, some spots are concealed, but my skin is still see-through. You can still see the skin. You can still feel the skin. It's not heavy. It doesn't feel weighed down. You know, my skin still can breathe while it's still being covered. So really, really enjoy this powder foundation. But there are some great powder foundations out there at every price point from almost every brand. So definitely find yours. But again, if you're looking for a little bit of coverage, but you ain't ready to reach for the liquids just yet, try a powder foundation, and don't forget to take care of your skin beforehand. So what did you guys think about this video? I am trying to mix the two of my worlds together. You know, there's the esthetician, there's the lash artist, but then there's still that diva. That's still that diva out there. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to figure out how to mesh the two and find my place here out on the internets. I will figure it out someday, but just bear with me and just show me some love while I try to figure it out. So I hope this information helps someone else out there. If it did, please give this video a thumbs up. And while you're here on my channel, take a look around, see what else your girl has to offer. And if you're liking what you're seeing, hit that subscribe button. And I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.